Are you keeping up? Championship round 10 all complete. Here are my hot takes. 1. Sweet 16. If you didn't notice, there are now 6 teams all tied on 16 points in the Championship table, with midweek wins for Southampton, West Brom and Leeds adding them to that cluster of clubs. All the 16-point sides will hope to use that total to first get comfortable in the top 6 and then have a crack at that top 2 currently ahead up in the distance. For Southampton, it's been a brilliant week so far. They beat Leeds at the weekend and they won 1-0 at Stoke on the watch-along on Tuesday. Bit of redemption for Russ Martin after those 4 straight defeats, more than a bit of resilience shown by his players to take this 3 points. Honestly, I didn't expect us to be talking about West Brom this high in the table, but their lovely run continued with a win over bottom side Sheffield Wednesday's. Baggies are 5 unbeaten with 4 clean sheets in those games. Feels very on brand from what we saw from Corberon at Huddersfield, doesn't it? And Leeds won 1-0 against QPR, but it all sounded pretty comfortable despite there only being a single goal in it. Somerville got said goal, 10 points in the last 5 games for Leeds. Sounds good to me. 2. North East boost. Both of our North East sides are in form, with Middlesbrough and Sunderland on for a 9-point week. They're not both going to get one though, because they play each other this coming weekend. But that's then, and right now both are looking in great nick. Sunderland are up into 4th and breathing down Preston's neck after their recent wobble. The Black Cats beat Watford 2-0, featuring a superb dribble and finish from fullback Niall Huggins. 5 wins in 6 for Tony Mowbray's side. Pretty good. Meanwhile, Middlesbrough have turned it right around. 3 wins in a row now leaves them just about ready to move into a mid-table spot if they can continue the good form after their dreadful start to the season. Borough won 2-0 against informed Cardiff, and there was an important goal and moment for Latte Lath, who has a lot resting on his shoulders this season in the post-Akpom, Archer, Ramsey era. The game at the weekend should be a right banger. 3. Share the wealth. Now, you might find this hard to believe, but I am actually getting quite bored of hearing the same old stats about my team Ipswich after each and every win. Not that I've not enjoyed the past 8 months, but there's only so many ways of framing a winning run like this, game after game, week after week. So big thank you to good old Chris in the Blue Monday Telegram group. How's this for a slightly different angle? After the 3-0 win over Hull in midweek, Ipswich now lead the Championship for the highest number of different scorers this season, with 12, and a couple of those goals really good. Burns and Chaplin in particular, as Town reach a mightily impressive 25 points from the first 10 games. Now, what is more impressive than 25 points in 10 games? 27 points in 10 games, right? Take about Leicester. The 3-0 victory over Preston was the 9th already of the season, and they really have the whiff of a team capable of amassing a huge points total if all goes well for them this season. Cody winks, Vardy through the spine. Dewsbury Hall looks miles above the level. They look strong title favourites at the King Power. 4. Flawless, Drawless. Draws are rubbish, aren't they? They suck points out of the league table and slow down a side's momentum. Well, it's a good thing we didn't have a single one this midweek. A few close calls though. Swansea had to wait until the 83rd minute to get themselves in front against Norwich, with Bashir Humphreys forcing home at what seemed about the 100th attempt in the 6-yard box there. Mike Duff looked in big trouble actually after the defeat in the South Wales derby. 10 points in 4 games though since then. Says he's not anymore. Coventry went 2 minutes later than Swansea. They needed an 85th minute winner from Haji Wright to defeat Blackburn. Sky Blues 1 defeat in 9 and back-to-back wins. Keep an eye on that. The closest game though to being a draw was at the New York Stadium, where Tommy Conway scored a 95th minute goal to give Bristol City the lead as they snuck a 2-1 win over Rotherham. What a cameo from Conway. Coming back from injury, he joined the game on 79 minutes, and it was a brilliant double to fill the Robins fans' full of hope for what's to come when he's fully fit once again. 5. Pressure release. Our 2 final results certainly relieved the pressure on a couple of Championship managers. Birmingham's John Eustace was 6 without a win in all comps, and he's probably wondering if things would have been slightly different had Shariki Dembele started any of those games for Birmingham. Dembele was back in the 11 and gave Huddersfield a horrible night with 2 goals in a 4-1 win for Blues that was Darren Moore's first defeat as Terriers' boss. Birmingham are in the top half, 1 point ahead of Millwall, where Gary Rowett seems to be an absolute master of pulling out a victory when the pressure seems to be building on him. 1 win in 5 for Rowett and Millwall going into a tough-looking away midweek trip to Plymouth. Millwall took it 2-0. Beautiful assist by Watmore for the first. Not entirely sure how the assist for the second wasn't deemed as common assault, but Millwall still did a lovely away job. They've become very good at that under the tenure of Mr. Rowett. 6. Xisco sack-in. Now, don't worry, I'm not breaking the regular structure of this show and adding in a 6th hot take, but the big story in the Championship this past 24 hours is the sacking of Xisco Munoz at Sheffield Wednesday. So click here to see an entirely separate video of my thoughts on Xisco's dreadful run as the Wednesday boss and what needs to happen next over at Hillsborough.